Hey everybody, today I'm going to walk you through how to create an interactive video with Claude Code. So not Claude itself, but Claude Code. So let's go ahead and walk through. You have to make sure that you have the desktop version to do this. I have everything installed on Claude already, so I'm going to create a folder, and this is going to be my interactive video. So this is where I'm going to place my file. So I'll go ahead and just place this inside of my media, create a media folder, and there we go. We'll drag this inside of here. Okay, so now we're ready to create the prompt. With Claude Code, you need to point to the folder because it's working with files on your desktop. So it's actually specifically working with it's going to create multiple files. This is why if you in the past have watched some of my videos, I talk about just creating like single HTML files and then copying and pasting it over. The problem with that though is Claude doesn't point or allow you to use external media. In this case, we do. We just have to point to the folder that has the media in there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then I will point to the open or go to open folder, go to my desktop, and then just open up the entire folder. We want the entire folder where it has all of the files inside of there. So I'll click on open at this point. And then we're going to trust the workspace, and that's it. Now we can go ahead and start to build out our interaction here. We're going to use the media. So in my prompt, I want to point to the media file, which is named 0202.mp4 file. So I want to make sure I include that in the prompt. Let's just go ahead and just bring in that video file and just kind of center it horizontally and vertically as well. I want to create an index.html file that pulls in the mp4 0202.mp4 inside of the media folder and displays the video centered both vertically and horizontally in the screen, and make sure that it's responsive with some padding on the sides as well, so it adapts to whatever screen size that I'm on. Now I'm just using typeless right now to be able to create that. If you want to check out more about typeless, and that way I can just voice my text here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now it didn't get it exactly 0202, that's fine. It is going to ask me if I want to allow some things. It's kind of annoying, but it does just make sure that it's are you wanting to do this? Are you wanting to do that? And so you just basically have to click on allow, 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 and then it creates that for you. Now it will also preview it for you inside of here. So once this is done, we'll see the preview. So there's the preview. If I click on play, nothing is actually happening. So let's go back and say, I see the video player, but I don't actually see the video loaded. Make sure that it is pointing to the media 02_02 file. While we're doing that, I'm just going to double check that that's where it is. So yeah, 0202. Let's double click on index.html, and it does play when I just double click on it on there. So I'm wondering if Claude Code in the preview in Claude Code just doesn't seem to be working there. And that's fine. We can work with it externally if we want to. So let's go ahead and keep working here. Oh, it does say that it's an HTTP server. Yeah, so it may need to run on a server, just kind of a local server. That's almost like running it on a local website. So let's go ahead and allow that. That's pretty typical when you're doing some things inside of web development, that it needs to have like a local server to be able to preview. Now the difference between Claude and Claude Code is if you're going to be working with several files or media, you'll definitely want to use Claude Code because you can create and place these media files inside of your folder and work with it that way. If you're going to be pulling media from other places, you can use Claude, just regular Claude, or have Claude create the content for you. You can just use regular Claude chat that way. I am also running Sonnet. You could switch it up to be Opus, but Sonnet does take up less credits, and so I just want to make sure that that is working. So let's click on that, and you can see that it is working here. So we're going to work with it here. I'm going to go back into here. And what I want to do is when I click play, it has the default kind of controls. So we see here the volume, we see the full page, we see the expanded out as well. Those are kind of just default controls there. What I want to do is add some style to those controls, but I also want to add a menu on the left-hand side that scrolls in and jumps to different parts of the video. We can control the labels of the video in the menu, but I want to have that just to add a little bit more interactivity there. Now let's come in and just say, can you add a menu icon on the top left-hand side? And when clicked on, it has different parts of the video. And when you click on that part of the video, it will jump you to that part in the video. So it'll jump you to 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Add on just a sample description for now, but make it so I can change it. Keep that inside of a JSON file so I can go back in and edit that. That will allow you to control when you jump to different parts of the video. So if you want to jump to like the very beginning or the very end, it's basically just creating a menu navigation at this point. And typically that's done through like a sliding in and out point. Okay, so we see that menu right here, although it's still not working in this, still not working here. So let's come in here and just hit refresh. And there is our menu. So if we click on the menu, notice how it doesn't hide it. That is something to keep in mind, is if we want to, and if it's out on the left, we want to have it hidden. So let's come back into Claude Code. I want to have the menu hidden when it slides out to the left. So it's only visible when it actually slides in. So let's go ahead and do that. Because we have that menu.json file, we can then use that similar type of thing to create a questions.json. A questions.json then allows us to say, okay, at this point in the timeline, ask this question a multiple choice question, and then show feedback, and then continue the video after that. So that's something that using JSON to extract the data, it's almost like XML if you've worked with XML in the past, but it helps create that structure that we can then use as part of our logic inside of the interactivity. All right, so let's go ahead and just preview this again. So I'll have to hit refresh, and our menu is not visible. We slide it in, great. It looks a lot better now. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. I want to ask questions at various points in the video. So after a couple of seconds, it should pause the video. It should ask a multiple choice question, show them feedback, allow them to continue the video. So it will pause the video behind the question, and then it will continue the video. And then a couple seconds later, it will go ahead and show the other one. All of this data of when the questions show should be inside of a quiz.json file that allows me to update it later as well. And at the end of the video, I want to show the final results of all the quiz questions. So have like a gauge of the percentage of what I've done. You try to detail it out as much as possible, but you go through, and I always find that I don't like to provide everything at first of like, here's the entire thing that I want. That could be helpful, but then you have to start iterating anyways. And so I just take it one feature at a time. And let's add the menu. Now let's add the quiz questions. Now let's go ahead and add SCORM tracking, different things like that. If you did want to SCORM track it, I'm not going to cover it in this video, but you can check out this video here that shows you how to take anything that you've created HTML and SCORM wrap it so it's trackable inside of a learning management system. Or you could even check out this video that talks about CMI5 where you get more. So you can add more data of like, okay, when the learner paused, when they reached halfway, when they completed, different things like that. There's just so many possibilities when you're working with AI, Claude Code, Lovable, whatever you're working with, so many different possibilities there. Now it does create, let's just take a look at all these files. It is creating several files. So it's creating the chapter, it's creating the quiz.json, it's creating other files to be able to run it locally as well. It still has my media folder in there. That's really where you go beyond just the single interaction HTML and you're building several of these different types of files. That's really where it goes beyond, and you're going to have multiple files to work with, which you can still upload to things like Rise. You can still put it inside of Storyline, different things like that. But it's something that you are working with several different files to be able to create this type of interaction. Okay, so it says it's done, gives us a little sample of what that JSON is and how we can control it. So let's go ahead and come back into our browser, hit refresh. We'll hit play. And I'm going to just lower the volume. And there's our first quiz question. That looks great. If I want to go in and say, hey, make this light theme, make this, add some color to it as well. But let's go ahead and select it. And you can see there's my correct answer, my correct feedback. And then I have a continue watching. So as I continue watching, you'll see that the volume still lowered. But after a couple of seconds, it will show another quiz question, which if I want to, there's the next one. So I can just choose a different one and you can see what it looks like on that feedback. Now I could even say, if they get it wrong, jump them back to this point, or have a point in the JSON where I can go ahead and jump them back and do that kind of thing. So it's really a lot of different possibilities to be able to create something interactive, something engaging as well, just by a couple prompts. And let's go to the end of this video. I'm going to jump to the very end. I may have to answer a couple of questions here. but I want to see what the final results looks like. And if I skipped a bunch of questions, which you could also lock it down and not skip questions, but if I skipped a bunch of questions, it may not have all of that. But there's my quiz complete. We have this animated gauge. It tells me which ones I got correct and incorrect. I did that all within kind of 10-15 minutes or so of creating this. It's absolutely mind-boggling what we can do with a couple of prompts. This is only scratching the surface. If you want to check out more, check out my course on how to build a fully interactive course using nothing but Claude Code, including SCORM wrapping, bookmarking, xAPI, if you want to add that. But there's just so many different things that you can do. Now, Storyline, Captivates still have their places. It still make it incredibly easy for you to be able to create content. But in some situations, it makes sense to create something custom. And that's really where Claude Code comes into play. So that's just a little bit of a taste of the course. If you want to check out more, you can head to vibedojo.ninja. I don't have the Claude course posted yet here, but also you can check out learningdojo.ninja, and that's where you can see the Claude course right here. So you can check that out now, and I do have an early bird special going on right now. If you like this video, head on over to our YouTube channel, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, as well as hit the bell notification so you get notified of all future videos as they come out. That helps us to reach more learning developers that are wanting to take advantage of vibe coding. All right, that's all I have. Thanks, everyone.
Spit one prompt and the whole squad evolves quick. Vibe code, baby, watch what we code. Type one line and I'm switching your mode. Hey!